Look at this. What are you guys doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in the office? Anyway, what's going on?
We don't have any work to do today, right?
Should be a holiday anyway.
Nothing on our plates.
So why don't we start out with you introduce yourself. Everybody knows you. You've already been on the podcast. So.
Yeah. So I'm Lauren Balbuena. I am the general manager of the KW Core.
My name's Julia. I am usually behind the scenes, one of the people editing the podcast. I am the director of marketing and tech for KW Core.
And I'm Erica Longueira. I'm the director of operations for KW Core.
It's going to be funny. I'm not going to say a word today.
That might be hard for you.
It's going to be very hard. Why don't we start with whoever wants to answer this? Start out with background. Let's go with that. Everyone knows where you're from.
Yeah, I mean, I did the whole podcast episode, but I've been in real estate since 2012. Started off, in Manhattan as a receptionist at the front desk. Grew over a lot of different roles, and became an assistant team leader with Keller Williams, a team leader, and now general manager, where I'm overseeing all 7 offices for you.
Awesome. Julia, how about you?
I started at Keller Williams about 5.5 years ago. Fun fact, it was actually my first job out of college. So I've kind of grown up with Keller Williams. I started in one office in Woodbury, and I've grown to the opportunity to be able to work with all 7 offices.
And I started with Keller Williams 3 years ago. I came from Bank of America Merrill Lynch, and I started as a DAS, a Director of Agent Services, in the New York City office, working with Lauren. Super lucky to do that. And through the years, I've grown to the opportunity of working with the core offices as Director of Operations.
Awesome. So whoever wants to answer, what's your day-to-day? Let's start with that. Yeah, what's your day-to-day? I know it's a lot.
I'll go first. So, every day is a little bit different. So, my day-to-day, like today, started off with accountability calls with all the team leaders. So, every 15 minutes, I have a call with a new team leader. And since it's Monday, checking in on what does your week look like? Where are you with recruiting? Who can I help you move along? And just having those conversations to kind of see where they are for the week. And then I'm here filming the podcast today. After this, heading to the Woodbury office. I have a recruiting appointment there. So every day is a little bit different, but my day is definitely accountability and growth focused, I think, with all the team leaders and training them and just making sure that they have everything they need for them to hit their goals and for the offices to grow.
So I think everyone would rather know, in this, because this is a different episode. We've never really done 3 people, 4 people at once. So let's start with, how do you guys work together? Let's go with that. Before we go into fun facts and all of that, let's tell people what you do and how you guys get together and work. And
Jules, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so I'll kind of back up a little bit, my day today. I would say my day today varies, but I would say my 20% is supporting the leadership team. So kind of just being that person to navigate random questions, whether it's a tech question, Excel questions, really anywhere I can help. I do teach a lot of classes, so sometimes I'm in the classroom teaching. I meet with leadership as well as agents, so often one-on-one appointments. I've been working alongside the team leaders in the core and outside of the core to recruit, grow my downline. So that's a little bit of my day, is talking to recruits and funneling them out. So that's, I would say, the major part of my job is definitely the teaching and the one-on-ones with agents.
Did you think when you got out of school you were going to be a teacher?
No. I also didn't think I'd be a computer monkey doing Excel, so you never know.
What did you go to school for?
I went to school for marketing and advertising.
Awesome. How did it end up changing?
Well, I'm definitely still in the marketing role. I'd say advertising a little bit less, but this is not where I thought I'd end up, but I do think it kind of makes sense. I really enjoy working and collaborating with people. I enjoy working on a team. I enjoy marketing, so I don't think it's that different from what I went to school for.
Where'd you go to school?
Pace University in Westchester.
And what you do also there? You were a competitor. Huh?
Yeah, I ran cross country, so they housed all the athletes at the Westchester location.
Awesome. That D1, what is that?
Pace University is D2.
D2?
Yeah.
You compete a lot, or?
Yeah, so in a season, you have about 10 races, and they can vary from anywhere from 3 miles to 5 miles. Yeah, so that was anywhere from August, you were going into school early, and then your season ends mid-December. And
then you still run today, or?
Yes, I am training to do all the world marathons. So I've done around 4. I think there's 7 left. So that's just a long-term goal that I'm working towards.
What 4 did you do?
I've done Berlin, I've done the Boston Marathon, I've done New York City, and I've done Chicago. So what's left is London and Tokyo. So I'm just waiting to get accepted into those.
Wow.
Cool.
What was the hardest?
Hardest, I would say New York City, just because all of the bridges and the hills, but definitely that was my favorite because the crowd really shows up and every borough is a different vibe, different music, different people. So people think the marathon's the hard part. It's really the training. Like marathon day is fun. You're just kind of getting a tour of the town, seeing all these different parties, listening to music. So that's the fun day.
Hey, it's going to be a strange question. I'm sure you get a lot, though. But you run the whole time? Or do you stop? You walk? Do you pace yourself? What do you?
Yeah, so each one's kind of different. Like I've done the Boston Marathon, I definitely stopped. It was pretty hot out, so I've stopped a couple times. Sometimes you have to use the bathroom. I've done marathons where you don't use the bathroom and you don't stop. So it really depends like how you're feeling, how the weather is. So it really depends.
What do you run? What's your?
I'd say like a 4:20 pace, which is around like a 9:30-minute mile.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Thank
How
you,
long you
guys.
been training?
Well, I would say since college started, I've been just in the running vibe.
Did you
So
do it in high school too? Or?
I ran track in high school. I also was in marching band, so I was the marching band conductor.
Oh.
So I never ran
That's
cross country
hysterical.
because that was the season where I was the marching band conductor. So once college started, that's when I really started taking cross country more
Oh,
seriously.
you're gonna get abused for that one.
I know I
You play the drum? Or what did you?
You conduct.
Oh, is that what it is?
So I conducted Farmingdale actually had a really great program. Like we would compete against Long Island schools and we were very well known. So there was about like 300 people in our bands, in our
Wow.
marching band.
That's cool.
Wow.
And the conductor is essentially like the leader, right?
Yes.
Like you were. So I guess she had leadership skills
She's a
like
natural
early
leader.
on
I was
then.
just
Yeah.
thinking that.
Look
for
at
sure.
that.
Makes a lot of sense.
So awesome. Thank you for sharing
Of
that.
course.
Erica, go ahead.
What was the question again?
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Today.
Yeah, tell us about yourself first, and then what's your day like today.
Sure. So my day to day is.
And pay attention.
Oh, you got it. I always got in trouble in school for that. My day to day is very planning heavy. I plan the training classes and events for the Corps. So we basically have a training calendar for each month that has certain bigger classes, some kind of series like Ignite, which is Keller Williams' sales training program for new agents, planning Zoom classes, in-person classes, events. It could be a recruiting event. It can be a wellness event. It could be our end of the year holiday party. There's a lot of events that I plan on a yearly basis alongside these two awesome people. So that's a lot of my day, a lot of answering emails, supporting leadership alongside Julia. I feel like we work very closely with the staff in the market centers, just answering questions as they come up. And then just anything that kind of gets thrown my way as director of operations. I feel like your day can kind of look different every single day. So
Awesome. What'd you go to school for?
I went to school for communications and media arts. I went to Marymount Manhattan on the Upper East Side. Loved that school. I originally thought I was going to go into sports broadcasting. I applied to a lot of internships, just wasn't working out. Unfortunately, I didn't know Brandon Steiner at the time. It didn't really work out, but I stumbled into a career fair my senior year of high school going into around fall. And I didn't really know what I was going in there for, but my boyfriend, now husband at the time, forced me to go there. I was pretty shy and timid, especially when it came to like planning my future. So I walked in there and one of the first tables I saw was Merrill Lynch. And I knew the name because my grandfather worked there for 40 years.
Wow.
And my eyes just kind of went over there and I just had a conversation with the person at the career booth and kept in touch with him through the next couple months. And then an opportunity came where they had a management position open for an intern. So I interviewed for that. And then I ended up working on their client relationship management team.
So you confused me. A management position for an intern.
It was a management team, but I was an intern for
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a management position for it as
Yeah.
an intern. Wow, that's
I
pretty
started as a
Interesting
manager
strategy.
my senior year of college.
cool. I was gonna say, band leader, manager.
No.
Quite the group here.
Wow, look at this.
I supported the management team there.
So this could be, I guess, for all three of you. Do you like the change? Like from school? Again, I know you're all doing similar jobs and, do you like the changeover from going from what you were planning on doing to what you're doing today?
I could start. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I think mine is kind of like similar. Like I did go to school for marketing. We did a lot of like social media focus, and I run the KW Core pages. So I do feel like I'm in like the same realm. I would say the technology piece definitely surprises me. Like the fact that I'm training people on a CRM, the fact that I'm like doing computer, like if people have a computer glitch, they're coming to me and I'm kind of figuring that out.
So how do you do all of these things in one day? Like, how does your mind
Time
work?
block.
Time block.
You
Right.
you are a pro at time blocking.
I feel like my calendar, people stress out over it because I time block everything. Like that one time you're like, what does eyebrows mean? I'm like, I put everything in my calendar. I'm getting my eyebrows done that day. So it's really just like staying organized and time blocking. And I really do stay true to that, especially if I'm in different locations. If I'm in Franklin Square, like I'm working for Franklin Square that day. I really try not to like deviate from, oh, let me help Brooklyn. Like I'm in Brooklyn tomorrow. I'm focusing on Brooklyn tomorrow. So I think just being like strong with that, and maybe sometimes it can come off like rude if I'm like, listen, tomorrow's your day. But like that's really how I can manage the 7 offices and versus leadership and staff and recruits.
That works for you, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
And does it work for everybody else? Like, does anybody get aggravated with it because?
I mean, maybe people might seem that like sometimes I might come off like dismissive because I'm working in that office today and I'm focusing on that one. Some people like time blocking and some people find it really hard, but I do it to a T. Like at 10 o'clock, it's my next time block and I'm moving on. So it's whatever works for everybody. But
Where do you find the time? Because you also were the number 1 recruiter for Keller Williams, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yes.
what year was that, 23?
Yeah, 2023, I was the number 1 recruiter in Keller Williams. And that, yeah, it was time blocking. Like usually from the second I walk in, so 9 to 10, sometimes it's less than an hour, but I'm going into the recruiting section. I'm making my follow-up texts, my follow-up messages. So everything comes down to time blocking for me.
That's so awesome. And then let's stay on you for a little bit. You've been all over in Keller Williams also, right? You taught classes.
Yeah, so I've actually been given the opportunity to travel to different regions and be on panels, teach some classes at regional events. So I've been to Florida, Alabama. I have a goal to go to Denver, Colorado soon. So one thing I really want to focus on this year is becoming like the recruiting MCTT, Market Center Tech Trainer. I think there's an avenue to go there. And I think like maybe creating like a non-TL playbook and like going to regions and showing that, because I do want, as I travel and as I get interviewed sometimes on different KW podcasts, like you don't have to be a team leader to recruit and grow your downline. You don't even need to do the recruiting appointments, but you can definitely like support the TL, send them appointments. So that's really one avenue I want to go this year, is like being known as that like MCTT who recruits and being known as this person that TLs can go to for advice on how to grow the leaders around them to give them appointments.
That's awesome. You also, Erica, you did some teaching outside of the core?
I did. I was a dance teacher for 10 years at a local studio named Mary Lou's School of Dance in Whitestone, Queens. It's where I'm from, Queens. I taught there. Once I graduated high school, I actually went to Frank Sinatra School of the Arts for dance. I got to study dance 3 periods a day, 5 days a week for 4 years straight. And I danced before that too. So I had a strong dance background. Frank Sinatra was incredible. It really set me up to then teach my art to students. And I taught from a range of ages, probably like 2 years old, which was adorable and tough, up until
It's like
probably
working with the core, I guess, right?
yeah, it trained me well for that. And I also taught up to like 18, 19 years old.
Did you train anybody else in Keller Williams besides the core? Did you go outside and teach in other areas? Didn't you go to Jersey or Jersey Shore?
Yes, I was able to attend a DAS, which is a Director of Agent Services / DFI Mastermind, which is Director of First Impressions. Those are our 2 key market center roles for staff. And the Director of First Impressions, they're the first person you see when you walk into the office. They do a lot of the admin work, a lot of answering phones, a lot of handling projects for agents, projects for leadership. Same with Director of Agent Services, which was my first role with Keller Williams. And I traveled to Atlantic City and spoke with the regional team over there. And I just got to lead a mastermind on supporting multiple market centers. I took some of my experience with New York City and then was able to apply it to working with other offices. And in that area, I was probably the only one there that was working with multiple market centers at the time. So it was really interesting to see some of the challenges that we shared and then some of the things that I was able to teach other staff members and offices.
Wow. What, Lauren, with you as a general manager, coming up to the core, how did you go from assistant team leader to general manager? Like, take us through that process.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I've always been really lucky and I say lucky, but I've always had really great mentors, I think, from day one. So even before coming to Keller, again, I had a really great broker that taught me everything that I learned about the real estate business, like how to do transactions. And then coming in as an ATL, I've always worked really hard. So I think people see that in me up front and then do spend a lot of time to like teach me and show me the ins and outs. So yeah, as an ATL, I mean, I got in the classroom there. Like that was my number one priority, was teaching Ignite to new agents in that market center.
What's Ignite?
Ignite is our like 12-session training that goes through really from A to Z on how to become a real estate agent. So again, starting with lead generation, working your database, for sale by owners, expireds, buyers, sellers, negotiating offers, contract to close. So like every aspect of doing a deal, of being a real estate agent. It's fundamental in what we teach. So I think a lot of agents come to Keller for that training. So that was my one thing, was training. And then I slowly got into recruiting a little bit with like new agents there. But really just learning there to start building relationships with the agents.
How do you slowly get into recruiting? Was that just forced into it, or like, hey, do this job for me? You wanted to do it on your own? Like what?
Yeah. Well, like anything, we essentially had kind of like a 30, 60, 90. Like this is what you're going to accomplish in your first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And that was focused on, like I said, rewriting Ignite for New York City, because it didn't include a lot of basic stuff. You know, that New York City is kind of a different market and a little bit more challenging. So like that was the priority.
And this was before the core.
This was before the core. Yeah, I was with a different ownership group at that time. So that was a priority. And then maybe like about 6 months in, it was like, okay, like you're going to handle all the recruits that come in through our website and are just like, hey, I'm interested in learning about Keller Williams. Like you're going to do all those appointments. And then it's, okay, now you're going to go to the real estate schools and you're going to present and get people who, you know, are interested in learning about Keller Williams that I presented to the room for. So slowly doing that, and then tapping into our relationships too, then reaching out to people who are at my former company and just seeing what they're up to and just really kind of learning that. And then really when I met you and came to Woodbury as the team leader and took that opportunity, that's when I really got into like the heavy hitting recruiting, you know? So, and I kind of just jumped in and did it because you told me I had to gross 10. And if I didn't, you were going to fire me. So I was like, all right.
Remember that day in Jersey you came to me all nervous?
Because I only recruited 9 and not 10. And I was like, I'm going to be professional and come to you first about this problem.
Like, what the
and
hell are you talking
like
about?
laughed at me.
Trying to eat breakfast, having breakfast.
I'm like, I'm really sorry. I didn't hit 10 this month. And you're like, are you serious?
So, and then how is it after growing into that, now working with a team and developing a team the way you're doing it? Because again, I think you guys over the last year, I've seen amazing growth from, you know, it went from, oh my God, the place is burning down, to, okay, we got this, to, oh my God, the place is burning down, to where we are today, where I think we're in a really good position.
Yeah.
So all three, you're like, how do you work together? Again, it must be tough, right? Working together on a level at this level. At this level, it must be tough working together, having 3 different positions, but working all together. So how does that look? Like, how's the accountability there, and what does that look like?
I think like us working as a group is probably the easiest part of my job. Someone else at this table is a little tougher, I would say.
Erica?
But I mean, we have daily huddles that I think most of the days we are getting together. So we're starting our day talking about our priorities, what we need to accomplish. We have, you know, a board up in our office in Garden City that talks about like Q1 projects, year projects. So we have a 135 that we, you know, worked on together, which again, so we're just always revisiting those things. And I think we get along really well. I think we respect each other. We know what our goals are and what we want to accomplish. So I would say that's not the hardest part. But I'll let you guys jump in if there's anything else you want to add.
I would say like constant communication. Like if we're not on a Zoom call, like we are G-chatting all the time. And I think we're all very organized, which definitely helps. Like sometimes we're handling like a lot of different projects, a lot of different events. Like sometimes Erica will chat me like, hey, we need to do this. And like, we'll remind you. So I think the fact that like we can all kind of like remind each other and stay organized within the group is really helpful.
Yeah, and I think one of the best parts about this group is we all have very similar but different roles, which I think requires a certain amount of skills, and each person brings those skills to their roles. And like I can learn from Lauren can learn from Julia can learn from me. Like we all just like take pieces.
And nobody can learn from me.
Yeah, you're separate. Nobody knows what you do. But especially Julia's time blocking, like once I saw her calendar last week for like really the first time looking at it, I was like, man, I gotta pencil everything into my day now. And I started doing that last week, and it really helps me get things done. So, I mean, there's so much to learn from these two here, and
Likewise.
keep learning every day.
Let's change it a little bit up. Give me a fun fact that nobody knows in Keller Williams about yourselves.
You can go first.
If you already said it, this is
Yeah, I
I
kind of
know.
snuck mine in before, but I do feel like a lot of people don't know that I was a dance teacher for 10 years. I recently told one of our agents that I went to Frank Sinatra, and he was like, wait, what? What is that? He was like, isn't that a singer? And I was like, oh, it's a performing arts high school in Astoria, Queens. And
Run
he
by
had
Tony Bennett. Right?
yeah, Tony Bennett founded the school. He actually used to come to like all of our shows.
That's
My
awesome.
family used to sit behind him watching me dance on stage,
That's
which
pretty cool.
is a crazy moment to have. But yeah, I went there and I got to dance with American Ballet Theater, Martha Graham. I got to dance at Lincoln Center. I graduated at Lincoln Center and walked the stage there. So it was such a cool experience, and I'm lucky that I still know the owners of the studio pretty well. So from time to time, I'll get to cover classes, and it just kind of like re-sparks the passion and love for me.
So me and you got a lot in common. I'm a really good dancer also.
Oh yeah, really?
Well-
May have to show everyone
Are you
later.
coming to salsa night?
No. What's your yeah, imagine that. What's your favorite dance? Like what?
My favorite dance is hip hop.
Okay.
Just like riches.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I figured we had that in
Scissor.
common. Post Super Bowl things. I loved hip hop because there's not a lot of technique to it, and it just reminded me that like I could be free with my expressions and just move, and I didn't have to follow a very strict foundation, which I needed to do for ballet in high school.
You think that's where you get discipline from dancing, or
Definitely. I also played sports growing up too, so I
What'd you play?
I played softball.
okay?
I started that in 5th grade, played it all the way through, senior year of high school. Actually used to get in trouble by my dance teacher in high school, leaving dance class for my softball games because we weren't allowed to do both, but I did it anyway.
Cool. What position did you play?
So I started off at first base, which I loved. My dance skills really allowed me to be a more flexible player at first base.
Wasn't your dad a first baseman too?
I don't know what
I think
base.
I played against him in softball. Back in the day.
No,
That's
he
it.
used to be my coach,
Yeah.
which I don't know how he did it because I was a tough cookie to really discipline at that age. But I really feel like first
Not only
base.
at that age, but
still now. Yeah, let's be real. But yeah, first base I started, and then when I went to high school, they had a junior at the time playing first base, so that spot wasn't available. Thankfully, my dad trained me to also be a third baseman. And I hated it when he taught me how to do that, but thank God he did because I probably wouldn't have had a spot on the team there. And I played third base through high school.
awesome. Must have a good arm.
Yeah, I tried. I don't know if I could do that anymore.
That's so awesome. How about you,
I
Julie?
could go next. So a recent fun fact, would be that I closed on a house in Suffolk County with my boyfriend a couple months ago. So I feel like that
Congrats.
was, thank you. I think that was really great being in the real estate industry because I now understand like what agents go through. Like I know what they deal with clients, and I can kind of see the other side. Like I can see what clients like might need throughout the transaction, so I can kind of work with agents to provide that, like a list of vendors or what to do in the area, or even just like a start to finish when you're buying a home. So I definitely think it's helped in my role.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Laura?
I guess for me, not a lot of people might know that I was a cheerleader in college. And I feel like that has kind of stayed with me and like come into my just life as an adult. I feel like I am always cheering people on and really positive and try and bring a lot of energy. I think a lot of people misunderstand cheerleaders, and like that's their main job is to like lead the crowd, like to bring energy and be upbeat. So I feel like that's something a lot of people don't know, that in college, we cheered NCAA and we competed at nationals in Daytona. So have the competitive aspect and like the leading of the crowd part
Love
too.
that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. All four of us are competitors when you really look at it.
Mhm.
All played some kind of sport growing up,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool. What would you do if you weren't with the Corps? Like, what do you think you would be doing right now if? Because you guys are all young still.
Yeah.
What would you have done if you didn't choose this career? What would have been?
Yeah.
Fireman, cop? What would you?
So there's like two things that come to mind for me. So initially, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a journalist. You mentioned you wanted to do sports broadcasting, but I wanted to be like the next Diane Sawyer. Like I wanted to be a journalist. So I went to American for communications. They have a really good journalism and broadcast program. And I took my first broadcast class and I hated it. Like I did not want to be in front of a camera. It was just awful for me, which now, like looking back, maybe I could have grown to like it a little bit more, but like back then I was a little more shy and timid, so I definitely didn't like that. So in another world, I would be like Diane Sawyer, a broadcast journalist. But then I think really the answer is like I did want to go to law school, and so I think I would be an attorney if I was not in real estate right now. Is the right
What kept you
answer.
from going to? I think we talked about this on our podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I graduated college in 2011, and like the job market was like recovering from the recession. So, you know, I needed money. I mean, my parents couldn't support me anymore. They were nice enough to support me throughout college. So I felt like I just had to start working, and I got into real estate pretty quickly and liked it, and then got to the point where it's like, all right, I guess I don't need to go back to go to law school. So just really started working and liked real estate. So really didn't feel the need to go back, but I do think about it a lot still.
It's pretty cool.
I think I'd probably be working for an ad agency. In college, we had a 2-year course called Ad Team, where you're working with real businesses. They put in a ballot to work with the school, and you're working with them to grow their advertising and work with them on goals. So that was like a real-time experience of working with agencies and working with businesses, and I really did enjoy that. Similar to Lauren, like right after school, I was interviewing with ad agencies, and then I also interviewed with Keller Williams at the same time, and I chose Keller Williams, and since then, same thing. Like I really enjoy the real estate industry, so I don't see myself like leaving that industry, but I do think it all kind of works together. Like I am still working in advertising, working with business owners, so similar, but a little bit different.
I think if I weren't to be in real estate, I would want to own a dance studio. Another fun fact is back in 2020 when COVID hit, I was really reevaluating my life and what things were going to look like in a few years. And at the time, real estate was in a pretty good place where you could buy something more affordably than you could today. So I honestly contemplated buying a space or renting a space and just teaching some classes and getting the word out and kind of building that business. And that's definitely still a long-term goal of mine, especially when I'm older and hopefully have a family. The real estate industry really helps me learn what it is to run a business because I'm around entrepreneurs every single day. So I just want to learn as much as I can. And then I think that alongside that, just because the hours are a little bit different from your normal 9-to-5 job, I'd probably want to be like a lifestyle blogger and write.
I can picture that.
Yeah.
And kind of spend like the days writing, planning lessons for obviously my dance classes, and then just have a little bit more time to really hone in on writing because I used to love doing that. I used to write for a blog in college too, so I miss that part of my life. So I could see myself doing both.
That's pretty cool.
Cool.
I didn't know that about you. So you were instantly to master one skill in 2025. What would it be?
Making sourdough bread.
That's awesome.
For me to eat every day. I would say like mastering ChatGPT. I feel like that's something that is really interesting me, and I have like a minimal knowledge of it, but I do think like that's the future. So if I could just instantly learn it and become a master, like I would choose ChatGPT.
That is pretty awesome.
That's a good one.
I think for
working
me,
on it.
I think for me, it's got to be public speaking, like being able to give like this amazing inspirational speech, like on the fly to the room. I feel like you're really good at like the on the fly speaking. So for me, it would be that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You guys chose work ones. I went with food,
There you go.
naturally.
It's important though.
Just want to feed my people.
That's it. One app that you can't live without on your phone. What is that?
TikTok.
I knew you were going to say. If you said something else, I'd be like,
I'm addicted to TikTok. I just love watching it. I get like all my news from it. It's
Oh my
great.
goodness.
all of your clothes sometimes.
All my clothes, my news, relationship advice. TikTok's got everything.
I think, to no surprise, like probably Google Calendar. Like when I tell you guys everything is on there, like everyone on the team knows that I saw my grandma last weekend and that I went to dinner last night. Like everything is on there. So I definitely can't live without Google Calendar, or probably my notes app, which also has thousands of notes in there.
That's awesome.
I like that.
Recipe book?
Honestly, TikTok, but not for news. And mind you, we did go like 24 hours without TikTok recently, and I did okay, but
Survived.
I survived. So I think I could live without it. But one thing I would do differently this time is a lot of my recipes that I use for like weeknight dinners live in TikTok, and I never wrote them down. So one thing I'm doing differently now is writing a few of those in a recipe book.
You can just save the video though and go back and watch
but if
it.
the app doesn't exist,
I guess.
I can't go into
There you
it.
go.
So we may live in a world where TikTok doesn't exist in the United States soon. So
I doubt it.
No, and we need CapCut to stay. So
I
TikTok
know.
and CapCut together.
yes,
What's CapCut?
CapCut is where we edit videos from, and it's
Yeah.
pretty easy to use, but I made the mistake of deleting it because I had a glitch on mine, so I deleted it, and it's owned by TikTok, so I can't get it back.
Oh,
So Erica has been helping me with the videos because, I can't download it right now.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, I think CapCut would be a good one, though it's like owned by TikTok. So technically, I still can't live without TikTok. But I started a social media content creation business where I kind of capture behind the scenes videos of events and like special moments in people's lives. And when we weren't able to use that app, I panicked so hard because I was like, I just launched a business a few months ago doing this, and now the app that I knew how to use doesn't exist.
Wow.
So that was scary. So CapCut, I think, is a big one for me too.
all right. I know the obvious answer to this one, though. Who's the funniest person in the leadership group?
It's not you.
Like-
That's what-
Wait, out of like
Come on, you know it is.
anyone? Like or
Or
out
out
of us or out
Out
of
of you three.
anyone?
Oh, out of us? Right? No, let's do like the
Oh.
whole team. There's like 30 of us.
Yeah.
Or we can do this group. It's not Rich. That's for sure.
I think I'm hysterical, but I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about, 'cause I'm pretty funny, too.
I think
I
it's easy to
surprised you
laugh
with
at
Sasa.
me.
What is her name? Sasa?
Same. Definitely laughing at me is an easy thing.
Out of the group, then, who's the
So I think I have an answer. I think Sal is hysterical.
No, it's really funny.
It's hysterical.
I love Sal.
Regan makes me laugh too. Like I feel like her
Okay.
TikTok language, like you don't hear that elsewhere from other people. So I feel like her jokes catch me by surprise. So I'd say like maybe Regan. I think who else?
Hmm.
Linda?
I think Matt was a stand-up comedian at one point. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I would still go with Sal. Sal is
Sal.
just like,
But he doesn't mean to be funny. Like I feel
No,
like he's not trying to like spit out jokes. Like just the way he is just funny.
Coffee. Oh, my
Just
God.
4 espresso shots.
Yeah.
his laughter is just contagious.
Yeah,
like,
I
I
think
don't think
so.
that like what he says is necessarily funny, but the second he starts laughing, I'm like belly laughing.
Yeah.
Punches me in the chest every time.
Yeah, I would say his manners. When
Yeah.
he's talking, he's like hitting you. Like that's
it's
so funny to
You're
me.
black and blue having a conversation with him. All right, let's just in 2025 vision. What's your visions for 2025?
Yeah, I can go first. So I think for like us as a group and just as the core as a whole, we're really looking to grow. I think like growth and consistency is important. You know, we want to make sure, you know, no team leader left behind, no office left behind, that everyone is hitting their goals and growing. So I think like, again, not that that's different from the past. I feel like we've always worked together, but just like really focusing on helping each other. And I think we're like seeing that already, because I'm already seeing one TL call another TL, like if they're struggling for the month, and kind of offering help and seeing what we can do, like beyond the help coming from us. Like we're always offering help to that group. So I really think, again, each office growing, us launching some new offices like in Smithtown, North Brooklyn, and just really actually like following through this year and making sure it happens. So growth and consistency, I think, are like my 2 words that I would associate for this year.
So in growth, how do the 3 years, and I want to stay on that question, but then follow it up with, how do you help the team leaders in the day-to-day, not only hit the growth numbers, but just the day-to-day grind that a team leader has? And
Yeah, I mean, providing resources, like I would say, like I'm the go-to if they have a question, like, oh, I heard something about like these 6 conversations on a call, and me being like, great, here it is, like on our one-on-one on Friday, like we'll review them and we'll go over them together. So being that point person day to day. Again, I think like what they do a great job, Julie and Erica, is like taking stuff off my plate so that like I can pick up the phone when the TL calls and help them with the recruit, brainstorm, you know, how to get creative with an offer, or just help them with the problem. So I think like that's how like I see my role, is like I am there for them. I'm the support, and just helping them get everything they need to grow and reach their goals. And then you guys do a lot around growth as well. So I'll let you guys jump in.
Yeah, I would say like one focus this year is like really growing our social media and our brand presence. And I think with that, we'll help the team leaders recruit and make conversations easier. I'm excited we've partnered with RCG this year to offer like a lot more video content and a lot more initiatives for our agents to be on camera. So that's really one avenue of growth that I'm looking forward to. And then kind of like I mentioned earlier, like I really do want to grow my presence just in Keller Williams, kind of being known as that market center tech trainer who helps recruit, who sets appointments. And I really do enjoy working with the team leaders as well. So I'd say like those 2 avenues for me, I'm excited for this year.
it's awesome.
For me, I really want to focus on elevating our education and events. Like we talked about before, we have pretty fundamental Keller Williams courses that I think through the years, the importance of them has kind of dropped off a little bit, and just kind of like elevating what, we already offer, maybe offering it in a new perspective, changing up the content, changing up the instructors, changing up the way we teach, definitely teaching different topics, like honing in on wealth building, I think is a huge focus. And then for me personally, bringing more wellness related topics, just because spending the last 3 years being in real estate and being around entrepreneurs, I could see that like 24/7, they have work on their mind and they just want to service their clients, be the best possible real estate agent. And then for us, we are just trying to be the best possible leaders we could be for our leadership and for our agents. So not only do I want to teach the agents how to really focus on those wellness related areas in their life, like mental health, physical health, heart health, things like that, but I want to make sure our leadership is doing that too. So I'm lucky to be the regional territory leader for the 5 boroughs for the KW Wellness community. So along with planning my, usual Keller Williams and core related classes and events, I want to make sure I'm tying some wellness into that this year.
That's awesome. What do you guys feel is like the most important things that agents come to you with daily shit, where they're coming to you on a day-to-day? What's the most common for all of you?
Like all of us picking the same thing? Or?
Yeah, just in general. What are most
Yeah, I
what
would
are
say,
most
like,
agents
I
going to
kind
come
of-
to you with that you can help them?
Yeah, I would say
100%?
like I kind of own the CRM command, like that atmosphere. Like people will set appointments with me, whether it's just to get a general understanding of how to use the platform, or sometimes it's more high level. Like I have a 10-person team. I want to really automate our texts, our emails. I want to get checklists in there. So I would say like anything in command, like I'm the go-to person for.
Okay.
For me, it's really important for me to just listen to what they're asking for. And then what I like to do is if I see a lot of people kind of struggling with the same thing, I figure out a class for it. I find the right instructor for it, and then I offer it on our training calendar. So recently, you know, Matrix came out, and the agents were kind of nervous about this new platform, and there were a lot of questions, and you know, us as leaders, we were just learning the platform ourselves. So we actually found two actually really great instructors for this that have used Matrix before, one being Matt Stoffer, who's the team leader in Keller Williams New York City, and then Sal Sika, who we mentioned before. He is the team leader in the KW Elite Massapequa office. They both were very comfortable with the Matrix platform. So we just got them together in a room, blasted it out to our agents, and so many agents were able to walk away with problem solved, new best practices that they didn't know that they could do, tips and tricks. So I definitely just like to listen to what they're saying and then figure out how I can not educate them myself, but find the right people to help educate them.
Yeah, I think for me, the like agents a lot of times come to me with feedback on like everything and like suggestions on everything, just like what they're noticing. Because I think sometimes they, you know, don't want to hurt their team leaders' feelings maybe. So like, I mean, you know, you've been in leadership role for a while, so they'll come to you. So for me, I'm just fielding a lot of feedback on, you know, classes, on recruiting, on how the ALC can be better, like how the staff can be better. So I get a lot of feedback from agents. And then really though, like the people who come to me really are the team leaders. So like they're coming to me a lot of time asking for permission or approval. So that's either something I can make a decision on, I need to go to you on, or I can tell them like, you're the CEO of your office, like you make the call. So I feel like that's what people come to me for a lot of the time, decisions on financial stuff, what to do, how to handle situations. So I'm just kind of, they'll talk through everything with me is my role.
So change it up a little bit more now. I want you girls to ask Lauren, like, or each other, what questions would you have?
Each
Okay.
other?
Yeah.
I could start, I guess. So for Lauren, you just mentioned like you take a lot of like feedback, criticism. Like that's something I'm really trying to improve this year is like as a leader now, like I do get feedback and criticism often and like I'm working through it. But like how do you like not make that bother you, or how do you like really turn that and like this is positive for me and spin that in like a positive light?
Yeah, I think you have to like realize how you process it. So like for me, it does hurt my feelings. Like if I get like direct criticism about myself, it hurts my feelings, but I know that I'm over it in 24 hours. So like I kind of just like don't react today, like think on this for 24 hours because I know tomorrow I'm going to be able to think about it with a clear head. So I think you have to, my advice to you would be like, how do you process it? Like, how long are you processing it? And just try not to like react emotionally in that amount of time that it takes to process. And I do think it's a skill where as you get more feedback, and again, most people are coming from a place to help you or to help the organization. So like for me, I'm just always thinking of that. Like, where are they coming from that they're giving this feedback to me? And you know what? It's 90% of the time they're coming from a good place, and just trying to deal with it that way. So I think it just takes a little bit of time. So
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I feel like that was the same area that I was going to ask. I have a hard time separating like my personal feelings in the workforce. I'm just a huge empath, and I genuinely just want people to be heard, happy, supported. And I guess when I hone in on that quality of myself, sometimes I could get a little bit too emotional when it comes to work. So just knowing that you say like, don't react right away. Like, what do you tell yourself in your mind? Like, okay, this just happened. Like, how do you get yourself to not verbalize your feelings or react right away?
So that's actually really interesting. So I am sitting in my mind, like saying like, if let's say someone's speaking, like I'm like, don't talk yet, listen. Like I'm telling myself, because I like to jump in with solutions really quickly too. That's actually when I was leaving, going from assistant team leader in Tribeca and coming out to Long Island to be a team leader, they did like a lot of like going away parties for me. And I was like, you know, it was like a planned thing that I was saying goodbye to people. And one of the agents, and I'll never forget this piece of advice, she told me, she's like, you're amazing, but like you speak too quick when people give you a problem. And I'm like, she's like, I can tell you're trying to solve the problem, but it makes me feel like you're not listening to me. So like now, and that was like really good and helpful. And she like was straight out with it. And I'll always remember that. And I came into the TL role with that advice of like, be sure to listen. Like, even if the solution's in my head and I'm thinking it, but I literally tell myself, like, don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud yet. So I think like you kind of have to use that same technique with if people are giving you because people will automatically just get defensive, like off the bat immediately the second they start hearing anything negative. But like finish the thought, think about where they're coming from, and then really like think on how to respond. So
yeah, one thing I try and tell myself in my head is like go through it to grow through it. Like kind of like you were saying, like everyone's feedback is to grow you as a leader or just like help you. So no one's like really meaning malice, and that's what I tell myself. Like go through this now, and you'll grow through it. So I can obviously work on the same thing, but like I'm working on it.
I love that.
It's really
Go
good
through
advice.
it to go through.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Thanks.
What else? Anything else you would ask each other?
Any other questions?
Like if you were an agent, what questions would you ask each other?
If I was an agent, what questions would I ask each other?
Well, let's go this way. And again, we already said this earlier. What's the one thing, because no one finished except for you, I believe, that the agents really do come to you for? So you finished pretty much so. So Erica and Laura never really touched on that.
Well, for me, I really feel like the training is what they come to me for. If they, especially top agents, I feel like they come to me with solutions on how we can better train our newer agents or the mid-level agents and really get them to hit the next level in their business. So if they feel like a certain event or a certain training, a mastermind will really support our agents and help them grow, then, they come to me. They know that I'm the person managing that calendar. And, sometimes I ask if they can give me, good instructors for it. Who do you know that, is really specializing in that area? So again, like I said before, I really just have to listen. And I think what you just said before is like, not always reacting. Like if somebody says, oh, we could do this better, like just taking a second and be like, I'm not doing this badly right now, but I can do this better to better support and better educate our agents. So again, really just listening and allowing them to tell me what they need, because again, I'm not an agent. So I really lean on the people around me to provide me with those tips.
Yeah, I think for me, the agents do come to me with the bigger picture things, which I think is good because they were coming to you with those things. And like now I think they are starting to learn to come to me, if they're looking to get an answer from you on something, they're coming to me. And that could be on recruiting, on, again, new offices opening, on, again, you're getting a lot of the training feedback now, but I'm getting, like I said, a lot of the other feedback and suggestions on, how offices should be run, how sales meetings should go. So again, I'm kind of collecting a lot of the suggestions, and they come to me, again, knowing that like we're the group that can implement, So I think that's what's great is that like the message is getting out that like if something needs to change, if we need new ICAs, if we need a new policy, it's going through the brokers and coming up to us. And again, we're speaking to the top agents, the ALCs, and then making a decision on it. So I think that's what I'm doing right now.
So let me ask you this: since there's 7 offices in the core, and 8 if you include the other ones, and then a couple of others that are opening up, and how do you girls like adjust on a day-to-day when you're going to a Franklin Square and you're going to a Garden City or a Massapequa or a Manhasset? How do you guys adjust to that day-to-day, and how many of those offices are in link with the core, that they all do it the same way? Because I doubt that everyone's doing it the same way. Everyone's different, right? Every office is different, and they have their good things, their bad things about them. And then you got the core way. How many follow the core rules? And then what's your day-to-day like with that? Like, how do you adjust to that?
Okay, I could start. Well, for starters, I would like to say, like, I started in one location, and people always ask, like, are you happy to be
You
in
started
one?
in Woodbury.
Yeah, I started in Woodbury, and now I'm the 7. So sometimes people ask, like, are you happy? Do you like that? And I really do. Like, I like the fact that we can work with the 30 leadership members on our team. I like the fact that we can work with the 2,000 agents. So every day it's different. It definitely breaks the week up a little bit, like going to Brooklyn tomorrow, then Franklin Square the next day. But like you said, like, every office has their own feel to it. Every office has their own issues or things they're doing really great at. So it's definitely just being like fluid and working with each one like one at a time. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, like I'm dedicated to that office today. As for, at least in my opinion, how you said which ones are not following the core, like right now we're building that. I feel like this is the year where like we're building those models. So I think we're all working towards that. And I think next year, if you ask that question, it'll be a little bit different. I'd say like right now, we're just building that. And it's
That must be the
progress.
fun part of the job, though, building it to where they're all in sync with each other.
Yeah.
And then is it a good thing that they are all in sync together, or should they be separate in some ways because they got their own identity?
I like that they have their own feel to it. Like every market center is special for a reason. While they still have that core vibe, and we all have we have similar events and the same staff sometimes. So I definitely think it's a positive. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're really trying to accomplish is getting like the minimum standard in all the offices, like all these things need to happen in all the offices. And then there's going to be like New York City is always going to be a little bit different. I mean, they have a rental market, they do things a little bit differently. But then each office can kind of like add their service, or each, depending on the leader, like the CEO of the office, like they're going to add their spin, and each office, each team leader is going to have their own kind of thing that they specialize in that will make them a little bit different. But kind of in terms of, again, we want the experience when an agent is joining, when they close when they get paid, when they, are going through the education. Like, we want the experience to be similar in all the offices. I think like that's what we're looking to achieve, even if it's not like doing everything exactly the same, because there's different people and different personalities. But I think we're looking to create this like really amazing customer service experience for all the agents in all the market centers.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think we are in a really good state of collaboration amongst leadership and agents. I could go into one of the offices and see like multiple people from another office there that day. I definitely see them working together more. We have these great monthly top agent masterminds where, last year it was building and it was a small amount of people. And then now it's growing and growing where we may need a bigger room to have these events. And, they're really collaborating with each other. And one of the best things that I see in a room like that is someone in one market center that's really strong in one thing, and somebody from another market center who's like dominating that office, asking that other person a question and be like, what are you doing to solve X? And how can I learn from you in this area? And that's one of the best things that we have right now in the core. And I think it's only going to get better the more we standardize systems and create this incredible customer service experience. The agents are going to want to do that in their businesses too, because they see the standard that we're setting, and they're going to go and set that standard for their clients as well. So I definitely see this collaboration just growing and growing over the next few years.
So with that being said, right, and it's going to be a hard question for you two to answer. It might be a little easier for her.
So you start.
Right?
Sure.
What would set the core and Keller Williams, our group, apart from everyone else?
From like every other brokerage out there?
Everyone,
or within
every
Keller Williams?
brokerage, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think our talent. I think we have really talented team leaders. Again, I think everyone is authentic to themselves, and I think that brings just a lot to the table. So I'd say your talent. I think our model is the best one in the business, but obviously I'm a little biased on that. So I think our model, again, I think in terms of our model, it's our culture too, and a lot of stuff in our model like reflects on our culture, like stuff like profit share. Again, I know working for you, like you have always put like profitability first. And again, we're growing and we're profitable because we owe it to the agents to profit share back to them. It's not for profit for the ownership group. It's always going back to the agents. Again, I think we're collaborative and creative and are always looking for like win-win solutions and scenarios. Trying to think what else in the group that makes
That
us
has to be
different.
really,
A lot of that.
that would have to be really tough too, especially as leaders. So just an add-on question. I want to hear your 2 points too. Is how do you deal with me basically every day? And what I mean by that is when you know I'm always on the agent side.
Yeah.
That has to be tough, right? Because again,
Yeah.
I always have your back,
Mhm.
but it's always agents first. You
Yeah.
know, what can we do to make the agents successful? You know, get them to the masterminds, get them to this, and then do your day
Yeah.
to day. So what is that like? You know, from you?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you're clear that like, and I think we're clear
We
that
all
like
are.
we're here for the agents. So
Correct.
like, I don't think any of us disagree with you if like I don't think it's ever really us against an agent that
Absolutely
often.
not. Yeah, I didn't mean
But
that.
like,
yeah.
if it ever was, like, I think we would understand if you like forward facing had to take the agent side to make them feel special and appreciated, because you make us feel special and appreciated in different ways.
Mhm.
So I think like we're in alignment. So that's really not as challenging. Again, I think there maybe are challenges when we try to like enforce some of the systems and the things that we're looking to do. And, you know, there's always people who don't want to do it. There's just people who never want to like fall in line and do it the way that they're told to be done. But I think, again, we're in alignment on the end goal and how we want our agents to feel. So like,
That's
I don't
the cool
really
thing
think-
about the agents too. They're not going to just do it. That's what I
No,
love about them.
they speak up, but I think we like that's the part of our culture is like we have an ALC. We go to our agents asking like, "What classes do you want?" And so they feel like they have a say and an opinion, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
do. That's right.
You can go.
Huh.
I was going to say pretty much the same thing. At the end of the day, we're a company that's built by agents for agents. So the agents always come first, and we always have to listen to what they need. Coming from a bank background with Merrill Lynch, everything was very black and white. There really was no gray. And, you know, you're working for such a large company, there's always going to be set rules and standards that you have to follow. And I think real estate has that. Obviously, we went through a lot of those changes in the last 2 years. But what was so great about us during that was we just figured out like, okay, whatever's going on in the world, we need to figure out how to adapt to that and then teach our agents how to adapt to that and make them feel calm about it. And what I love is that we're always thinking like, how could we support our agents? How could we better educate our agents? How could we help them grow their businesses? And it's just, you don't see that anywhere else. All these other real estate brokerages, in my opinion, are so focused on their brand, their awareness, and what they are doing as a company. But here with us, we're just so focused on the agents. And at the end of the day, that's our company, agents.
I'll kind of go back to the question of like what separates us from Keller Williams, from other companies. And you kind of touched upon what I was going to say is like the wealth building opportunities. Like aside from profit share, I could talk about profit share for a second. Like even just for me, like once you're with Keller Williams for a certain number of years, like you vest in the company and then you own profit share for life. And they call that your 401kW. So like even that opportunity, I've been growing my downline for 3 years and I've made almost $50,000. Like that's true wealth building right there. And it's passive. And if anything were to happen to me, like my family gets it and it's willed to you. So I think that wealth building opportunity, as well as just like the education provided, like the wealth classes that Linda teaches or that you put on us or the vendor partners that we've partnered with, like I learned so much that I don't know if I would learn that anywhere else. So I think like for that reason, like that's another reason why I stay here is I'm learning so much about stocks, about setting yourself up for the future, about other investment opportunities. So I think agents plugging into that can see that this is what separates us from other companies out there.
Even referral businesses too, like the fact that you have so many different streams of income in this company. Like you can attend family reunion and meet X amount of people in different states and different countries. And then one day somebody you know is looking to buy a property in that area and you now can refer that client and you don't have to service the deal at all. I think that's an amazing wealth building opportunity too.
For sure. And that could be done very easy in Command. Quick
Yeah.
Command plug.
There you go. And you know, it is true because I started out as an agent. And if it wasn't for Keller, and I've been in a couple of companies, and I'm not one to move. I don't like change. It's, you know, first company I was with is America's Bravest. And if things went well there, this would have probably been America's Bravest we would have been talking about today. And that's because, again, I loved the office. I thought it was great. Small mom and pop. And then growing into where we are today, I felt that when I came to Keller, it was a mom and pop within a big organization, right? So, and then when your mom joined me, Jeannie Longueira, when she joined me, it was like, all right, now I'm starting to see some traction here. We're actually growing as a team, and we're able to build it up. And then it gave us the opportunity to where Karen brought us on and, you know, asked us to run the core. And then Mom ran the team. I started taking over the leadership role on, you know, the day-to-day with Keller Williams. And then from there, the opportunity, what I noticed in Keller is that if you do a good job, you get rewarded with opportunity, right? And if you look at that across the board, that's what you see. And, you know, there's so many stories just in our world alone with the opportunity, with the three of you sitting at this table. Excuse me, from Annabelle and Rebecca and just naming more names that have been in our world that were advanced and got, you know, really big, you know, jobs in our world and do so much for us. It's amazing that a company, especially a real estate company, is able to perform at that level and give opportunity to its agents. So with that being said, what opportunities can you guys talk about for the agents, for yourself? What have you gotten? What have you seen? What are you looking forward to? What are you looking to accomplish?
I could start with like opportunities providing to agents, like just from a social media standpoint. Like this year, we really are focusing on video and them becoming like the local experts in their area through videos. So I feel like as I'm talking to agents, like, yeah, they're nervous about being on camera. We're starting this initiative where we're picking a select number of agents. And even when I ask them, they're like, I don't know, I'm a little nervous. So I think like just getting them through the hump and getting them a little bit more comfortable on video and really growing their brand is the opportunity. Like one of the agents from Franklin Square, we were telling him like, you need to make a video, like get online, make a video. So I sat with him and I literally was holding up like cue cards for him so he knew what to say on camera. He posted it, and then that day somebody DM'd him, I am a buyer looking to buy in Belrose. And then from there, he really changed his mindset of like, social media is another avenue I can get business. So I think just from the social media standpoint, like that's the opportunity I can provide to people that maybe they never thought to Instagram is where you can get business from.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity, again, going through like the opportunity wheel they would normally like draw out. So again, you can become a coach and run a coaching business. You could launch a transaction coordination business within Keller Williams. You can do an expansion team. So if you're a big team, you know, you can go launch your team and your brands and your systems in another market. And that's a whole other avenue of income. Getting referrals from the KW network. And then like, obviously like for me, leadership. So again, if you want to learn leadership, like this is the only company that offers as much training and development for, again, leaders from the front desk, like up to OPs, regional directors, like so many different roles. So I think if there's an agent who is even interested a little bit in leadership, like they should come talk to me and Rich and just see what opportunities we have coming up, because we are always growing and launching more offices. And again, people are moving because of opportunities. So there's like new opportunities opening up. So I think that's what I would say for opportunity.
Adding on to what Lauren said, I really want to hone in on the communities aspect of Keller Williams. There are so many different communities, and you can actually start your own. So you could say, hey, I'm really interested in, you know, tennis, which exists in KW under KW Wellness.
Tennis?
Yeah, KW Tennis.
There's a Peloton community.
KW Run Club there.
There's
KW Yoga. I love yoga, so I'm a part of that. But you can have a specific interest and you can create a community or just join a community if you don't want to launch one. And you can surround yourself with people who, one, are like-minded and have similar interests as you. You can grow your referral network through that. You can take several different types of classes within that community and really dive into what you're interested in. For me, I'm learning more about the wellness community this year and seeing all the different things that they have to offer within the community. This month being National Heart Month, they just had a heart health call last Wednesday. They do Wellness Wednesday calls. So the fact that I work for a company that cares about what you care about is so important to me. And you could find any kind of community within Keller Williams that you feel passionate about. And I just don't hear about that from other companies.
It's awesome. What's one agent success story that really inspired the three of you?
You can go.
My mom, Julia Longueira, she started as an insurance agent back when she was maybe 17, 18 years old, working for a local insurance company owned by a family. She grew such a large clientele there. She has amazing customer service skills. And I used to actually go to her office if I had like off from school or if I had a half day. And I'd sit there and just see her interactions with her clients and her coworkers and just be in awe of that. And I think around like 2007, 2008, I don't know if I'm right on that, she decided to get her real estate license and kind of just go into, you know, a dual career kind of lifestyle. She wanted to grow her wealth building for herself, for myself and my sister Danielle. And, you know, she was going through some life changes that she needed to make sure she was, you know, financially secure for all of us. And I saw her starting in the company, and I didn't really know what real estate was at the time. I didn't understand the ins and outs of what my mom was dealing with on a daily basis. But then I saw her, you know, going from one job to the next, getting home late at night, barely having time for herself. But she really started from a brand new agent and now worked her way up to working with you and having such a, you know, great reputation for how she works with clients. That inspires me every day and is part of the reason why I came here. She wanted to have a big life for herself, but for Danielle and I want to make sure that I'm living a big life for my hopefully future children. And she taught me that there are no limits to what you can do. She's doing great. So I have to remind myself every day, like, if I have a limiting belief, like I can't do this, or somebody's telling me I can't do something, I'm going to go and do it. And I'm going to show them that I did it. So
That's awesome.
I'd say for me, the Riveras from the Woodbury office are my success story, just because they were the first agents that I ever onboarded. And I remember just being so new, like a weekend, and I looked at Rose, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, neither do I. I'm brand new. So like now, 5.5 years later, to see where they are growing their team. They even have they're even in Florida, and they have a team in Florida, and they are cappers, and they're throwing these luxury events. Like, we've both grown up so much, and their business has tremendously increased because they were brand new when they joined us. So that story, like, I always remind Rose, like, we started this together. So I'd say like them.
that's awesome.
That's awesome. I think for me, like being able to work with Barry when he first joined Keller Williams, I think like that's a big success story because he's someone who was already in the business and well established, but like being with him to help him work through the mindset of like growing a team and following the model, I think was like really amazing. And like he would always come to me with like, you know, the Kellerisms and how to get Kellerized. So I think I worked with him a lot on that. And to see him now like being essentially a 7th level team and, you know, now growing in Florida as well, and seeing his business, you know, go from 1 million GCI to 2 million plus GCI, and just growing his team and running it the right way. And I know like some people might have different opinions on like how to run a team, how to not, but like Gary Keller says it, like there is a system, there is a model that's successful. And again, like helping him, you know, learn that model, I think is like one of the best success stories.
And now he's teaching that at Family Reunion.
And now he's teaching that. He's on a panel. And again, he's moved to Florida, and his team is still more successful this year than they were last year. So it's really interesting to see that like
The
play out.
Barryisms.
Barryisms.
So, going to wind up soon. You know, this is great. Learned a lot today. What going forward in 2025, and I know you answered this a bunch, but what's the one thing that's most important to this group to get accomplished? And again, I know you said it probably 3 times already. Add something else that really where you're looking to build for the core in 2025, and then even going further into it.
I mean, I can go. Like, I think the one thing that I think we want to accomplish as a group is make the agents' lives easier, like solve problems for the agents, and then also make the leadership teams, like make their lives easier and solve problems for them. There's so many different problems and like different ways we can go about doing that. But I think like that's our one thing. I mean, that's my one thing is like solve problems, make their lives easier so that they can get opportunity, again, get the results that they need, again, to get opportunity and do what they want to do. So I would say that's for me. I can get more specific if you want, but I feel like that's my overall like theme for the year.
Yeah, I know we touched upon like growth. Like I would say like growing the like our bond, our collaboration, growing the agents' comfortability online, growing command, like the usage of command, like really just we have great systems, models, and great people, and it's really just like really honing in on that and taking it to the next level.
Yeah, I agree with what Lauren and Julia both said, but I definitely want to focus on helping our leadership grow. You know, we've talked about so many opportunities that are within the core, and I just want to be a tool in that process to help our leadership see what opportunities are out there, help grow their skills, kind of take them outside of their normal day-to-day operations and show them what the company has to offer and how we can help them as a team get to achieve their goals. And it may not even be, you know, a long-term goal that they have within Keller. They may be like me who wants to open a dance studio someday, or, you know, run a gym or open a coffee shop. You know, I just want to be a tool to help encourage them, support them, and help them grow to achieve whatever goal it is they have.
All right, so with that said, 10 years from now, we're sitting here. Where are you? You're in the core, obviously. Gotta be. But where are you? What positions do you have? And, you know, are you president of Keller Williams? What are you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like working in the core and working for KWI is a goal. Like there really are so many avenues you could go. In 10 years though,
Well, what did I say to you this weekend?
A lot of things.
What did I say to you this weekend about the core? Like, I see you as...
Yeah, the opportunities are endless. Like if you wanted to, if you really put your mind to it, like you can become the president of the company in 10 years. Hopefully in 10 years, Profit Share is paying me enough where I'm on a beach and I'll Zoom call you guys in. But I think 10 years, just really having like additional income streams, maybe putting my license to use. I am licensed and never use it. So maybe putting that to use and yeah, just being a bigger leader than I already am.
So are you an OP? What do you...
Owning a market center does seem really, really interesting. I'd say like maybe investors in multiple locations. I don't know if I want to be the big boss. I think again, like I'd love to be sitting on a beach and, and zooming into things. I do think like being an investor in multiple locations would be really awesome.
So just to let you know, hopefully next year I'm sitting on the beach.
That's what
she's
I didn't even
able.
take a vacation this
I want
year,
him
so I don't
to-
believe you.
So
I agree. I could definitely see myself being
Sitting
an
on the beach and-
investor. Oh yeah, throw me on a beach, I'll be happy. I'm a summer baby. Hopefully, I'll be a mom of a few children in 10 years. I definitely would love to be an investor in multiple market centers, maybe even multiple outside of New York, and be able to travel and visit those market centers. I definitely want to have a good level of work-life balance. I want to be, you know, in a point financially and established in my career where I don't have to be in an office 5 days a week. I can spend my time at home with my kids. I can, you know, travel from market center to market center teaching what I specialize in. And I hope over the next couple of years, I'll really be able to hone in on what exactly that is so that I can teach it, you know, throughout the country, and just be able to be still within leadership, being able to support our leadership, seeing, you know, hopefully some of the same people in our group have gone on to, you know, bigger and better things in our company. And And yeah, I think I'm still figuring out what 10 years looks like, but I do hope to have investments in the market centers, not just emotionally and supporting wise, but financially too.
You talked about like traveling across the country. Like that's definitely something for me too. Like I feel like if you get good at something in Keller Williams, like you do have the opportunity to get flown places, get paid for it. So I think like maybe teaching in the 50 states or going to different countries, like that's also something in 10 years I can see myself doing.
Yeah, I definitely want to make sure I'm traveling more because to this date, I mean, last year was the first time I went to Europe, and I want to make sure that
You go back again.
I go back again, and I even go throughout, the U.S. and other countries, but I want to make sure that I provide those opportunities for my future kids too.
KW's in 60 countries, so you got,
A lot of places
got
to
some
see.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 10 years seems so far away, but
does.
I think for me, like, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, you want to be, not like, I guess out of the, in 10 years, I hope you're out of the picture.
I hope I'm not out of the picture, but
well, not out of the picture, but not
Hope I'm
as
still around,
not
but-
as actively involved in like the day to day. So like my goals are to really again like take these years to get our systems in place, like become a really high level GM so that I'm doing all the things that you're doing, which is like, again, meeting with our top agents, running the masterminds, again, really developing and growing the business at a really high level. Again, and I'm doing it now, but holding people accountable, but really just doing it at such a high level where, again, we have other OPs and other investors in the group. Like I would love to help you guys become, like now that you say you want to be investors, like that's like my one thing is committing to you, like getting you guys to be investors in the market centers. And then I have a lot of other goals around buying investment properties as well. So again, I'm looking to still really be involved in the day to day, but like working on my financial freedom through investments and other things like that.
So that was going to be my next question, and you brought it up. Investment properties. What are you looking to buy?
I mean, I'm looking to have, again, get my first one within the next 2 years is my goal. And again, I kind
We'll
of,
have that in 6 months. but
I
yeah.
mean, I usually try and reach my goals a little bit earlier, but I say at least in the next 2 years, have my first one and then go from there and see, because I know it kind of can snowball pretty quickly. Once you get one, it's a little bit easier to get more. So that's like my one thing this year. And also kind of to what Erica was just saying, like really focusing on becoming a better trainer, especially some of the stuff that we like are paying other instructors to come in for. Like I want to do that for my people in the core, like pretty regularly. So I'm working on that as well.
How about yourselves on
What was the question?
ownership, like
Investment.
with investment properties or
Yeah.
businesses or whatever?
So now closing on my first property, like that is the hopes for it to be an investment property in 2 years. And I feel like I only have this because of Keller Williams. Like you guys definitely teach us to think differently. For now, as I'm saving money for my next opportunity, I would say attending the monthly investment clubs we have, like those definitely like open my mind. And I mean, you call us half the time, like I have something that you can be involved in. So I think just saving that money now, so when the time comes or I have the income to do these, like do it. So I really like that about Keller Williams, that if I called you right now and said I want to do something, like it would happen.
Like we have people we can talk to
Yeah.
right now.
Just to clarify, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not all because of Keller Williams. It's also a lot to do with you.
Thank you.
And what you did, because again, don't be so quick to give that all away, because you earned that, you did it, and congrats to that. That's awesome.
You're awesome. I definitely see myself owning an investment property, hopefully before the next 2 years. I would love like a summer house. Growing up, my family used to go to Lake George every summer, and we used to stay at a hotel or kind of like a motel up there. But it was something to look forward to every year. And like, I don't remember every single little detail of our trips. I remember that I wasn't the easiest child to be around growing up, my poor family. But, we used to go swimming in the lake. We would do karaoke, and we would go to Great Adventure. We'd get ice cream at Martha's. Like there's so many little specific details that I remember that I want to be able to have with my family and my husband. So maybe doing something like Florida or Montauk or Lake George, like definitely a coastal town. I'm a big coastal girl. And then we've talked about, how hot the market is in Indiana and breaking into there. I've gone to Nashville a few times, and I love music. So I would love to have a property there. And maybe do some kind of like Airbnb. It's such a hot market there too, and there's just so much to do. And as an investment property owner, hopefully, I want to create like kind of like our playbooks that Keller Williams has, but like guides on what to do in the area. I remember this one Airbnb that I went to in Nashville. They had like a whole booklet of things to do. And then they had a book where you could leave like a picture or a little note or something in like a scrapbook from your trip. And I was looking through it and seeing like all these past guests who stayed there write their favorite thing that they did on that trip. And like just taking that experience, like not just you check in, you have good towels and a comfy bed and comfy pillows, but taking it and being like, here's all the things that I love to do in this area. I hope you can enjoy some of it. And then like share with me what you loved about your stay here. So I definitely like the hospitality side of it. And I don't want to just be like an owner of multiple things. I want to provide that like customer service hospitality side to it.
That's awesome. And comfortable pillows, nice bed, and towels are very important also. So at least to me.
It is, of course. Have you met Chris, my husband?
No. All right. This was great. I
Yeah,
really
so much
enjoyed it.
fun.
We got to do this a little bit more. I did learn a lot. I'm sure everybody out there learned a lot also from you guys. And I really appreciate you. And I just want to tell you all that, again, I see us going in this uphill direction for a long time, and it's all because of you guys and of course everybody else in management, but keep doing what you're doing, keep leading the way. I love you all. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I look forward to watching you girls grow.
Thank
you.
Thank you so much.